Hello Rust fans and welcome back to The Grind. In today's video we will be talking about some of the biggest challenges the developers may be facing for the console version of Rust. Before we start, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and much more. Hit the bell as well so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And with that all out of the way, let's get right into it! Now, the Rust console version was announced last year at an Xbox event with the announcement of the game set for sometime in 2020. Well, we are actually in the middle of December 2020 officially, and we still have nothing in regards to the console version of the game. No release date nor any huge updates informing us about anything. So that does beg the question, is the game actually getting delayed? Well, it could be a possibility. That does bring us to our first point then, which is one of the challenges that the Rust developers have had to face or even could be still facing in regards to bringing Rust to console. One of the biggest impacts on the game's development time will be the lockdown regulations due to the current pandemic. While work on the game probably hasn't stopped, there is no denying that it has been slowed down dramatically due to the developers not being able to actually work at their desk, at their office, in person. Instead, they are all working from home and probably not with the greatest connections and resources overall than what they would usually have at work. This does make it incredibly difficult to get things done at the optimum pace they would usually work at. That is the reality this year, and probably will be still our reality for quite a while still. I mean, look at Cyberpunk, for example. It has about 4 delays, and a couple of them were just this year alone. The developers have clearly been hit very hard by the lockdown restrictions. They want a perfect game at launch, and that goes most likely the same for Gary Newman and the Rust team. They want to release a game that is very good at launch, and given the nature of a survival game, they will take a lot of time and work for it not to be filled with crazy bugs or issues like that. Just ask DayZ. They did not have a very great welcome to consoles, and it has not been very great for them ever since. Rust is one of, if not the biggest survival game out there, so they would want to keep the levels high and want the consoles to have that high level as well. Another thing the developers may be struggling with is the controls. Now, Rust is originally a PC game, as we all know, and the game is very naturally suited for the keyboard and mouse gameplay style. And yes, consoles nowadays do allow players to hook up a keyboard and a mouse, but most players are just suited to playing on their controller. So with that in mind, getting the controls right will be very difficult and very, very finicky. The same would probably go for the UI as well while we're on the topic. They both need to be cohesive, so there is a lot for them to consider when making controls work and seamless for the controller players, because there will be a lot of those. There's also the matter of the next generation consoles. These have already released, but the release window for the console version of the game is in the time where the next generation of gaming has finally arrived, and that brings a lot more complications, not to mention a lot more existing competition. Now, initially the game was announced for Xbox One and PS4, but the new consoles are out and there is no word at all about the next generation consoles, even despite them being known to the public for a while. But that also suggests that while they probably have only been working on the game only for current generation systems instead of the next generation ones, this means that the game may not be optimized for the next generation consoles. Even with all the hardware they possess, yes, there is backwards compatibility, but the hardware on the new consoles are they're too good not to take advantage of, let's be honest. The ability to play the game at 60 or even 120 FPS, 4K resolution, and some lightning quick loading times, this would just be Rust at its full potential, and it would be a crime not to unlock that. Besides, most people will be transitioning to the new consoles anyway, so it makes sense that they put a good amount of work into making the game playable at its best in the newer consoles. Now, with the new consoles in the mix, there might be more difficulty when it comes to implementing cross-platform multiplayer, because now they are trying to make it work with 4 groups of consoles. That does sound pretty difficult, I will even admit. This is a similar type of thing Call of Duty, for example, is currently doing. But then again, every single team that ever works on Call of Duty has a lot of experience with developing things on console. I don't think Rust has the same advantage. Either way, those are some of the struggles the devs have probably had when it came to porting Rust to console. Now, thank you all for tuning in. This is the end of the video, but if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like for more Rust content, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. We have much more Rust content that is coming your way, so also hit the bell icon so that you don't miss it. Or no, you did that, just what am I talking about? I'm gonna keep this one in. We're gonna keep this take. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. I don't know how to talk sometimes. Bye bye.